Hello to my fellow and future gamers. This is X with the Bubbles Gaming channel, and welcome to episode 4. In the last video, we covered gearing, specifically going for those gear sets. We also did a showcase for the new abilities and towers that we now have access to. In this video, I'm going to go through Foundries and Forges on easy, hardcore. Notice I have this dragon flying next to me. In the first video, I expressed an unwanting to purchase anything from the Tavern Keep, and really my only temptation would be a cheap pet. Well, I found a cheap pet. Draco there is a DPS pet, so occasionally he's going to throw a little fireball at the enemies and help me out with a little bit of extra damage. So like I said, today we're going to do Foundries and Forges on easy, hardcore. So I will come back at the build phase for Wave 1. Alright, welcome to Foundries and Forges. I said Wave 1, but apparently you start on Wave 2 for easy mode, so I didn't skip anything. You see we have 5 chests to start with. There are 6 areas where the mobs can come from, and only 1 crystal. This is an interesting stage because there are several different build types you can use. You can basically block the enemies at the 3 points just outside of their spawns. You can block them at the 4 points at the bottom of the stairs that come up towards your crystal, or you can block them at the 3 points just outside your crystal. I like to use a compact build for the most part, so I'm going to build right around the crystal. Squire's pretty slow, so I'm going to go gather all the mana, and I'll come back when I'm starting to build. Alright, so I picked up 3 out of the 5 chests, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the Squire, and I'm going to build some bouncer blockades. So a couple things about building here. You have to be a little bit careful because if guys come around this corner, especially archers, they can shoot your crystal from a distance, so you want to be able to attack them before they can attack the crystal. The other problem is that if you build your towers, specifically your attack towers, too close to this edge, then archers can come up here to the top of the stairs and they can shoot your towers before they can shoot around these corners. So the first thing I do is I set up 3 bouncer blockades, 1 on each of these. So I put them right there like that. I'm going to swap over to the monk and gather those chests, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're on the monk, and I've gathered the last 2 chests. I don't quite have enough to get 3 ensnare auras to cover all these, so I'll just build them on the sides here. I try to build the ensnare aura out a distance so that it can get the mobs as early as possible, but I still want it to cover around where the monster is going to be coming to the side of the bouncer blockade if they make it that far. Now the first character that I'm going to level in this stage is going to be the Squire. His getting to level 7 and getting access to the harpoon turrets will have the biggest impact really on my style of gameplay and a lot of my builds. So I'm going to try to get him there as soon as possible. So we'll G up, start the combat phase, and really on this wave you should be able to get all of the guys without your towers doing any work. Maybe close depending on how much damage you're putting out, and especially how fast your Squire is. This is not one of my favorite stages. There's a large delay on this stage. As you can see, only 9 out of the 18 mobs spawned to begin with, so it gives you plenty of time to kind of walk around. But when I get to the monk or the huntress, my faster characters that can do some decent DPS, you just kind of stand here and wait until the next set of guys spawn. So you can see there my dragon going out, and he's helping me out, doing some damage. It's not very good right now, but every little bit helps. So a little bit of a spoiler alert, the Foundries and Forges is the first place that we're going to encounter an ogre. They are big, nasty, they got a lot of hit points, they do a lot of damage, and they have a lot of range. Really, until I can get the harpoons, so my next playthrough, I'm going to be kind of limited. This first one will be the most difficult as far as beating the ogre, but we should be able to get through him without a problem. So we'll drop our mana, we'll swap over to the monk. Kind of screwed up the order there. I should have opened up the chests with the squire. But I'll drop down these two auras here. So I'm going to finish off my trifecta with the ensnare aura, and then I'm going to drop down an electric aura right on top of it. Alright, so I'm going to swap over to the squire, open all the chests, and then I'll come back when I'm back on the monk. Alright, back on the monk, and we're going to summon the other two ensnare auras here to the side. I'm also going to I'm going to summon the other two electric auras here off to the side. I'm also going to heal up these ensnare auras. I like to keep everything topped off between stages as much as possible. So like I said, once the squire gets to level 7 and he gets the harpoons, those are really going to be my attack tower of choice. I won't make level 7 probably until the end of this stage. So for this first playthrough, I'm going to have to bank on my apprentice and his magic missile towers to really do the dirty work from behind the bouncer blockades. So I'm going to swap over the apprentice, and I'm going to be putting at least 2 magic missile towers behind each of the bouncer blockades. Once again, really, it's not ideal to have your towers so close behind the defensive tower, especially the ogre will just blow through all 3 of these towers at the exact same time. But I don't really have a choice until my range gets reasonably longer with the apprentice. So go back to the squire, start heading over to the side, and we will G up and let the enemies come. I should be able to get through this stage as well, just without my towers doing any real work. We'll see how it goes. This will be close over here on the side. Alright, so I'm going to heal up my auras, open all the chests, and go back to my apprentice to finish building the magic missile towers. So I'll meet you back here when I'm back on the apprentice. Alright, back on the apprentice, and we'll continue building these magic missile towers. Alright, so now that I have the 2 magic missile towers down, I'm going to swap over to the Huntress. I'm going to put down some gas traps and maybe some inferno traps. We'll see. I'm going to make the enemies have to get really close and personal here to hopefully maximize the life of these gas traps. Shouldn't have to use them too much, but we'll have them there just in case. They may help out with the ogre as well. Swap back to the Squire. G up, and we will play through Wave 4. So Wave 4 is going to be the first time that we're going to see the orcs on this stage, so that's going to slow us down a little bit. We'll probably be able to clear one side, one group, maybe 2 before the towers get to them, but this one's really going to be up to the towers on some of the sides. As I get into these last 2 stages, you notice I'm going to spend more time closer to my towers, so I can just kind of help my towers clean up and also be able to pick up more mana. So once I get all my towers down, I'm going to spend the majority of my time collecting mana so that I can upgrade them. Alright, so I'm going to walk around. I will repair everything, open all the chests, and I'll come back on the Huntress to finish up my traps. Alright, back on the Huntress, I will place down this other gas trap. I thought I was going to put down some Inferno traps, or the proximity mine traps, correction. But kind of walking around and thinking about this final wave with the ogre, I've kind of psyched myself out, and I really want to use these remaining defensive units to drop down some more magic missile towers. All the playthroughs that I have done on easy or uneasy, the ogre has always chosen to go to the right hand set of towers towards the crystal. I don't know if he always does that on easy, but when you're looking at the map, every time that I've done it, he has gone to that right entry point towards the crystal. So I'd like to reinforce this side a little bit more than the others, but knowing my luck, as soon as I place down one more tower on this side than the others, then he'll choose to go a different way. So I'm going to try to stick with my symmetrical build and keep everything the same so that they're all prepared for him. Either way, especially on this first playthrough, magic missile towers are just not nearly as strong as my harpoons will the harpoons will be in following playthroughs. So I know that I'm going to have to assist my defenses, so I'll have to jump in behind the ogre and do some damage to him while the magic missile towers are trying to do their thing. So I do have a couple of extra defensive units here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to game it a little bit. I'm going to swap back to the monk. I'm going to throw down a healing aura on either side of the Eternia crystal so that I can stand in that and do some damage to the ogre, and I'll just kind of be getting healed the entire time. And I swapped to the wrong hero. Getting a little ahead of myself. So I'm going to kind of hope that the ogre doesn't really go to the... Oh, and correction. I can't do that yet because he's not a level 7. So, looks like I will just take this mana. I'll live with these defensive units the way that I have them, and I'll start upgrading some more things. So the first things I like to upgrade are the electric auras. Just helps that damage output quite a bit. So we'll G up. I'll kind of run down, fight with the mobs a little bit down here, but like I said, I want to spend most of my time up there so that I can upgrade these towers as much as possible. What I would really like to have would be the electric and ensnare auras upgraded once. I would like to have 2 of the magic missile towers on each of the 3 sides upgraded to be able to handle everything. So I've got one more electric aura to take care of as soon as I can get my... so these guys, I don't know if we've seen them yet. These are the kobolds. So as you can see, as soon as you start to do damage to them, they tuck down and they light a fuse on their back and then they run. And if they are destroyed while their fuse is lit, they explode. Or if they run into something while the fuse is lit, then they explode. So they're kind of suicide bombers, if you will. They can really wreak havoc on your defenses in large numbers. Alright, so that's all of the electric auras. Now I'll start working on the ensnare auras to get those upgraded. I need to stop doing that. I'm gonna jump up here, heal myself. Since it is on hardcore, I won't respawn. I trust my defenses, but I'd rather be upgrading than just watching my defenses do work. Alright, so let's just double check. We've got both of them upgraded on that side, both of them there, and both of them there. So I'll start with my magic missile towers. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that he's going to come from this side, so I'm going to upgrade these ones first, and I'll just start kind of working around as I go around. So I'm going to heal everything, go open up all the chests, and continue upgrading. I'll be back when I've got some more mana. Alright, so I've got plenty of mana here sitting around, so I'll just kind of show what I'm doing as I'm going along. So I'm going to upgrade these magic missile towers and continue around the room to open up the chest and gather all this mana. And it looks like some kobolds actually got through and did some damage over on this side. And not quite. So now let's go get this and then come back. Alright, so with 4 of the magic missile towers upgraded, we'll pick up this mana G up, and we'll be ready for the final stage. So as much as I would love to go down and really get in the business, I am going to stay up here. I still have some upgrading to do. Ideally, I'll be able to get both of these magic missile towers upgraded, and then also be able to maybe even upgrade this one, or have 100 mana left over at the end that I can kind of hold on to, so that I can watch to see which way the ogre goes, and as soon as I know which way he's going to go, then I can upgrade that magic missile tower. And sorry about this, just a moment. I apologize for the interruption there. I've used a television as my computer monitor, as the voice activation function on it, and occasionally it thinks that I'm talking to it while I'm talking to you, and tries to change things on me. So with the archers around, you do have to be careful where you stand up here next to the crystal. Oh, and there it is. So the ogre has arrived. I'm going to jump back into the center here in a second and show you what he looks like. See on the map, that is the giant head coming out of the bottom. So we're going to keep an eye on him and see which way he goes. So it looks like he's going to head over that way. We'll keep watching and see what happens. Regardless of whether I get this upgraded or not, you want mana, and you want to be at full health, because he's going to hurt. So he is coming up to this side. I'm going to get out here before he gets into my towers. The ogres are big and strong. It is easy to distract them, or somewhat easy to distract them. So if he does get through your towers, then you should be able to kind of damage him, distract him, and he'll try to go around the stage to your next set of towers instead of going directly for the... this is not going to work. Maybe. Nope. Get some reps going out here. Get him down. This is not going well. We'll see. Oh, and we beat him. So really from here, those defenses don't have much of a problem with the rest of the mobs. But you can see, well, I'm sure you could hear it. I was pretty nervous there, but we got it. So, goes to show, a couple level 5s do have what it takes here to do this. So I'm going to go through, pick up all this mana, pick all these amazing green gears. Look at that, apply up to level 7. Huge difference coming up here. So we're going to get everything up to +2s for my hero bonuses. I'm going to go around, collect all this mana, pick up all the greens, looks like I already did, and I will meet you back in the tavern, and we'll go over a couple quick things, and then I'll be done with this episode. See you in a minute. All right, welcome back to the tavern. So we collected everything, and we're back here. So I'm talking about one thing, and then I'm going to actually tack on to the end of this video just a couple of scenes from my next playthrough, so you'll see how I utilize those harpoon towers and how much better they are already than the magic missile towers. One quick thing I do want to talk about, so if we go to our tavern keep, if you go to your hero info, you'll see that you can, with your gear that you're wearing, has these upgrade levels: 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6, and 1 out of 1. So if you click on these, you can invest money. So this will take 77 mana. You can invest that, and then you'll be able to apply an upgrade point to one of these. Really, for low-level gear, I don't spend a lot of money actually on the gear until I get into Mythical. But it may be worth it if you're having trouble with a stage. Putting a bunch of mana into some of the gear that you already have probably could really make a difference. The one thing that you do get, so that goes the same with weapons and when you start to get accessories, so you can get feathers and masks, the squire can get a shield and things like that. And all those you spend mana in order to upgrade. The special one here are your pets. So you can spend mana to upgrade them. However, as you earn experience, so as your character earns experience during a stage, the pet or pets, if you're a summoner, that you have in play while you gain experience, that experience gets applied, and I'm not sure what the ratio is, but actually as mana towards your pet upgrading. So every time you finish a stage, it is always worth going to the tavern keep, bringing up your pet, and seeing if you have any upgrades available. Because now I can make my pet better, I can make his base damage better, or I can make his projectile speed better, all for free. So I'm going to bump up his projectile speed here, and then I'm really going to put the rest of it into base damage. However, now I get an attack speed bonus. So I'm sure you noticed while I was out there, he's pretty slow as he was attacking the guys. So look at that. I got Draco, my sweet little DPS dragon, up to a level 4 for free just for having him in play. So going back to the actual tavern keep, I do not have a nice cheap pet in order to buy. So on the next playthrough, I'm actually going to send him back to my item box. The next guy that I'm going to level will be the monk. So before I forget, I'm actually just going to equip Draco on the monk. So now he will help out the monk while I'm running around, and he will also gain some more experience. So like I said, I'm going to get into this next playthrough for myself. I'll show you a couple of snapshots of how I set up the harpoon towers, and then I'll show you that ogre battle when we get there. Okay, this is the build phase before the first wave on the monk. You'll see that my priorities haven't changed. I still want to get those blockades up, get those first ensnare auras up. I'm going to finish my ensnare aura, get the 3 electric auras up, and then I'll be back when I start using the squire again instead of the apprentice. Alright, end of this second build phase. I have my 3 bouncer blockades, my 3 ensnare auras, and 3 electric auras. I didn't have enough mana to actually bring out any harpoons, so I'll play through this one, and I'll be back. Alright, so I'm back on the squire. I've played through this a couple of times, and unfortunately with my harpoons, they're really good. They do a lot of damage. They have a much bigger range than the magic missile towers, but I haven't been able to get it to an effective range that it avoids getting hit by the ogre. This isn't really a problem. They're built by my squire. They have a lot more hit points, so they're a lot hardier than the magic missile tower. But just to show you how I set them up, so typically I'll do the 3rd step down as far to the outside as I can, right there, and then I want them to point down here. Even by placing them on the top step or even a little bit above that, the ogre can still reach them with the bouncer blockade there. If I was to move the bouncer blockade a little more out, maybe I could do it, but I haven't been able to find a good balance of avoiding the archers and my harpoons being able to stay out of the range of the ogres. I'll keep trying to play with it, and I'll stop back in if I do find a way. But really, I'm going to set up each of these sides with 2 harpoons, just like this. So with this side, I put them towards this wall and center. On this side, I'll put them towards this wall and centered. And on this one, I'll put them towards both the sides of the walls. I'll go gather some more mana and build as many as I can, and I'll be back to show you the finished product. Alright, so build phase prior to wave 4. I've got 3 out of my 6 harpoons built, and you can see them on the map. So I'm going to play through this stage, and I'll come back when I'm finished building with the squire. Alright, and prior to wave 5, I have built everything that I'm going to. So I have 6 harpoon towers, 3 bouncer blockades, 3 ensnare ores, and 3 electric ores. I've upgraded one of the electric ores, and now I'm just going to continue through this and the next wave, and I will jump in right when the ogre gets here to show off these new harpoons. See you then. Okay, welcome back. Prior to the final wave, I have the same defenses set up. I have upgraded 4 out of the 6 harpoons, so I'll be able to upgrade those other 2 during this stage. And what I will be looking for is when the ogre comes out, as soon as I know which entrance it's going to go to, I will upgrade that bouncer blockade. I know I forgot to do that in the last one. I just started repairing instead of upgrading, so that was a downfall on my own. To save us both some time, instead of showing any portions of the next playthroughs, what I will tell you is that with 72 out of 80 defensive units, that will leave you with enough to summon 2 of these healing auras. So I will put the 2 healing auras, one over here around these harpoons and one around these ones, kind of almost touching in the center underneath the crystal. They can't overlap at all. The individual types of auras can't overlap. And what that'll allow me to do is, for free, you can just go inside of your own healing aura and it will heal you. So that way, if regardless of where the ogre comes from, which side, I'll be either standing in an aura to attack him, or I can just back up into an aura. All 3, the monk, the apprentice, and the huntress, do have those ranged abilities. So you can just stand in the aura, get healed, or stay healed while you upgrade, repair your towers, or attack the ogre. Now that I have these harpoon towers, I'm really not worried about the ogre at all anymore. I'm over that, and we should be able to dominate him. So I'll be back when the ogre comes out. Alright, the ogre has just arrived. I just got my 6th harpoon tower upgraded, and I am ready for him to come at me. So we'll just kind of... And here is my first one where the ogre has actually gone a different direction. So we'll see whether he's going to go to the bottom one or the left one. Looks like he's going to go to the bottom one, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade my bouncer blockade really quick. I will grab some mana so that I have it on hand for repairing, and you guys can watch these harpoon towers do their dirty work. So you can see already how much faster his damage is going down. They have a lot more hit points than the magic missile towers did, and they're just dominating this giant clown. There he goes. Didn't have to repair, didn't have to upgrade, or didn't have to repair. I can't upgrade again yet, but much better, much happier. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this now. I'm going to pick up all the greens, all the mana, go back to the tavern, and then I'll be playing through this another 2 times. So that's all for now. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you would like to see some more of these videos. Let me know that you care, and I'll keep doing them. And this is X from Bubbles Gaming, and I'm out.